1944. Thousands of Japanese soldiers marched toward India, believing they were about to defeat the British Empire. But before they reached the battlefield, before they saw a single British soldier, before the first major battle was fought, the jungle had already begun killing them. Not with bullets, not with artillery, not with tanks, but with relentless rain, bottomless mud, invisible disease, and endless green wilderness. Every step forward demanded more food. Every kilometer stole more strength. Every day, more soldiers disappeared into the jungle, never to return. By the time many survivors finally reached the enemy, they were no longer an army capable of victory. They were simply trying to stay alive. This is the story of how the Burma Jungle became one of the deadliest battlefields in military history, and how nature destroyed an army before its enemy ever could. In early 1944, Japan believed victory in Southeast Asia was still within reach. General Renya Mutaguchi proposed an audacious plan. Instead of waiting for the Allies to attack, the Japanese 15th Army would invade India through Burma. The objective was bold: capture Imphal, seize Kohima, break Britain's supply lines, and ignite rebellion against British rule in India. If everything succeeded, the balance of the war in Asia might change forever. The Japanese soldiers were experienced. Many had fought across China, Malaya, Singapore, and Burma. They had defeated armies before. They believed this campaign would become another triumph. But there was one enemy they underestimated: the jungle itself. On military maps, Burma looked like another stretch of land separating two armies. In reality, it was one of the harshest environments on Earth. Towering trees blocked the sunlight. Thick vegetation swallowed every trail. Fast-moving rivers carved through dense wilderness. Steep jungle-covered mountains forced soldiers onto narrow paths where supplies moved only a few kilometers each day. Nothing moved quickly here. Not men, not food, not artillery. Every advance depended on carrying everything by hand or by pack animals. The deeper the army marched, the longer its supply lines became. And the jungle was waiting, not as a battlefield, but as a trap. At first, the advance continued, slowly, painfully, but steadily. Then the monsoon arrived. Within days, dry trails disappeared beneath rivers of mud. Every step became a struggle. Boots sank into the ground. Pack animals collapsed under impossible loads. Artillery pieces became trapped in the earth. Vehicles were abandoned. Bridges vanished beneath swollen rivers. Entire columns waited for days, unable to move. The jungle was changing faster than the army could adapt. Rain fell almost without end. Clothes never dried. Weapons rusted. Maps dissolved. Fires refused to burn. Food spoiled before it could be eaten. Visibility shrank to only a few meters. Soldiers no longer knew where the enemy was. Sometimes, they no longer knew where they were. The jungle erased every advantage the Japanese army had earned through years of warfare. Discipline could not stop the rain. Training could not dry the mud. Strategy could not shorten the endless trails ahead. Nature had begun its attack. The deadliest weapon in Burma could not be seen. It waited in the water. It hid inside insects. It spread through every wound. Mosquitoes carried malaria from soldier to soldier. Dysentery drained strength faster than hunger. Cholera infected entire units. Skin infections covered bodies that remained soaked for weeks. Tiny cuts became life-threatening illnesses. Every morning, more men failed to stand, not because they had been shot, because disease had already claimed them. Food became increasingly scarce. The longer the supply lines stretched, the fewer supplies reached the front. Rice rations shrank. Pack animals died. Ammunition arrived late. Medicine almost disappeared. Many soldiers survived on roots, leaves, or whatever they could find inside the jungle. Others simply starved. Leeches clung to exhausted bodies. Venomous snakes hid beneath fallen branches. Every movement demanded constant attention, but exhaustion made mistakes inevitable. Some soldiers wandered away from their units and were never seen again. Others simply collapsed where they stood. The British Army remained dangerous, but for many Japanese soldiers, the jungle had already become the greater enemy. By the time Japanese forces reached Imphal and Kohima, they were already breaking apart. Entire battalions had lost much of their strength. Many officers no longer knew how many men remained under their command. Communication failed, supply lines disappeared, artillery shells became precious. Food almost vanished. The offensive slowed, then it stopped. The Allies held their ground. Fresh supplies continued arriving by air. The Japanese received almost nothing. Soon, retreat became the only option. But leaving the jungle proved even more deadly than entering it. The same mountains, the same rivers, the same endless forests stood between the survivors and safety. Wounded soldiers struggled through deep mud. Many could no longer walk. Some were left behind. Others died beside the trails without ever seeing another battlefield. The jungle showed no mercy. It simply continued doing what it had always done. The Burma Campaign became one of Japan's greatest military disasters. Historians still debate the exact numbers, but one fact remains beyond dispute. Tens of thousands of Japanese soldiers never returned. Many were not killed by British bullets. They died from starvation, disease, exhaustion, exposure, and the impossible geography of Burma itself. The offensive that promised victory instead destroyed one of Japan's most experienced armies. The jungle had achieved what the Allied armies alone could never have accomplished. It broke the invasion before it could succeed. Burma proved that logistics matter as much as courage. An army without food, without medicine, without roads, cannot fight for long, no matter how determined its soldiers may be. History remembers the battles of Imphal and Kohima. It remembers the commanders, the strategies, the victories. But hidden behind every military decision was another force, one that belonged to no nation. The Burma Jungle chose no side. It did not defend Britain out of loyalty. It simply punished anyone who believed they could conquer it. Rain, heat, mud, disease, distance. Together, they became an enemy no army could outmaneuver. The Japanese entered Burma believing they were marching toward victory. Instead, they marched into one of history's deadliest natural battlefields. The jungle never fired a rifle. It never raised a flag. It never declared war. Yet it destroyed an army all the same. Because sometimes, the most powerful weapon in history is nature itself.